Hello, I'm Robert. This is Sam. I want to answer a question that somebody asked me the other day about one of my videos. But before I do that, I just want to mention I'm wearing a microphone, which means from time to time, undoubtedly, while we're doing this self-defense video, the microphone will probably pick up noises like that. So my apologies. I'll try and do a soft edit on the recording, but please accept my apology in advance. The question I was asked the other day is, why in my self-defense videos am I not wearing my posh Tai Chi jacket? Or why am I not wearing a uniform or, a t-shirt that says kill them all and let whatever, the flying spaghetti monster sort them out? The reason being, I generally wear shoes that are something like the shoes I'm wearing. I wear trousers that are something like the trousers I'm wearing, and I wear a t-shirt and a jumper. This is, if you like, my normal day-to-day wear. So for me, it makes sense to do self-defense training in the clothes that I will assume I would be wearing in the real world. I will do a future video wearing a nice big heavy outdoor jacket so you can see if and how that alters things. I have no script for what we're about to do, so I will think of something, we will do it, and you will see if it works or not. Let us start with something fairly straightforward, which is somebody being a little bit angry with you and doing the old pushy to the chest thing. Now, if I'm standing upright, if you do that again, the problem is my balance gets taken. One of the first things we learn in Tai Chi is to relax, so that when that push comes in, it will still potentially push me backwards if you can push a bit harder. It will push me backwards, but there is a significant difference between being up here and being pushed backwards and being down here and being pushed backwards. Doesn't mean you can't be pushed backwards. It doesn't mean you won't be pushed backwards. But in a confrontational situation, try and avoid doing you want some of me, mate, because you're off balance. Equally, of course, as much as and I've said this in previous videos, as much as I don't like pushing people away, because then they can come back having picked up a stick or phoned up half a dozen friends, if somebody is doing the whole posturing thing and you push them away, it's easier for you because they're off balance and you're that little bit relaxed and not. So let's now just look at what we can do. So the first thing we can do, as that hand comes in to push, we can turn our body. I will do it to the other side. Can you push with that hand? You can turn your body and push their hand away. I can never remember the exact phrase, either in Chinese or the translation, but it's like 4 ounces can move a ton. In other words, here, Sam's energy is coming directly towards me. So whilst it would be quite difficult for me to stop it force against force, it's quite easy for me to brush it to the side. In Tai Chi, we have a number of moves, the most obvious one being the one called brush knee and push step, where you are brushing something to the side. Here, I'm brushing from the outside to the inside, but you could also be brushing this way or that way or this way or that way. So the push comes in, and there I reinforced it with the other hand. Why not? Push comes in, I got scratched in the face. Getting scratched in the face is a lot better than being pushed over the edge of a cliff or pushed in front of an oncoming car. So the push comes in, I push it that way. The push comes in, I push it that way. In an ideal world, in an ideal world, you push their push, or you deflect their push, so that you're facing their side or their back. You do not push their push so that you are facing their front. Sam is ahead of me on this. In that case, by pushing him that way, I'm giving him an opportunity to do something with the other hand. If I push him that way, it's not impossible for him to reach me, but it is very difficult. So the push comes in one way or another. Keep pushing with that hand for the moment.
It's keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, it is. So, oh, by the way, push comes in. You can do that, which is from single whip, but often just the easiest thing, same side, is nearer. If I come across the body here, it doesn't take a lot longer, but that, working the same side, should be quicker than that. But you practice both of them. And if you've got 3 or 4 arms, you practice with all 3 or 4 arms. I don't mean the forearm, I mean foot. Never mind. Right, okay, here we go. Sam pushes. I take him across. Now, do you remember I said you have this technique called brush knee and push step? So the obvious thing to do would be, having controlled the arm, you could push into the head. You could make that a strike, or you could make it a controlling move. If you push with that hand, Sam, there is a really nice controlling move. I know I've probably shown this before, which is where you come here, you hook under the nose, you take the sight by just putting your hands in front, and then you lever the person away. Now, I let Sam go there. I would probably not let go. What I would probably do is come there. That would be a bit of a whack. And I would then, whoops, Sam's going round. Okay, if he's going round, I would try to take the person down. But if it didn't work and he went round and round, I can live with that. So the push comes in. Oh, that would be a simple variation on that push. That would just be a strike to there. I would be being aware that my hand on his wrist needs to be a firm enough grip so that he can't do that. Because getting an elbow in the face is unpleasant. So he pushes. I hit there. I could then roll up and go for a lock. Push again, please, Sam. There. Oh, by the way, this, I would be trying to turn my hip into it, but even if I was just using arm strength, that's still going to hopefully keep my opponent, attacker, occupied for a minute. From there, I can come round. From there, I could hit. Let's just do it on the other side. Sorry, my bad. It's all right. On the other side. So from here, I can hit here. I can hit here. I could just come round and either slap the back of the head or slap it and slowly and gently control my attacker down to the ground. The more you slap, the more you will stun. I can never remember the acupuncture point or the meridian names. Gallbladder 20 or 21. You whack somebody there and basically an awful lot of the time people will be seriously inconvenienced. So the push comes. Yeah, you've got to push with the right. This is very important. If you're ever attacked, you must tell your attacker to attack you with the correct hand. Here, bang, maybe into the nose. Keeping this hand down a little stops the elbow coming into my face. It wouldn't necessarily stop it coming into my stomach, but I'm not actually sort of super bothered about that if I'm whacking the back of the neck. I might, in fact, if I whacked the back of the neck and I felt that the person staggered slightly. I might, in fact, let's just take it round to the other side so that the main camera's got us. I might even be willing to let go of this hand to concentrate on controlling the head. One of the things that I am aware of is just because of the camera setup that we've got today, we are limited. We can't go through the wall, because that would be bad. And we can't really go back probably about any further than this, because otherwise you will just have to imagine what's going on. So let's see, where are we up to? A push comes in, you do something, you hit again. If I was going to do hit to the front, hit to the back, the way I would do it, you just put your hand up so I can just hit your hand. The way I would do it would be fairly short and sharp. I would not do hit, takes too long. So the push comes in, bang to the front, bang to the back. Here I might even step in and around. Can we just turn that way slightly? That would give me that. Anytime you are controlling the front and the back of the head, assuming that you have discombobulated the person first, in other words, you've stunned them slightly, you will have a significant amount of control. And once you get somebody to this kind of posture, I'm actually helping Sam. I'm using my elbows to keep Sam up at the moment. Mm-hmm. Once you get somebody to that kind of posture, the main concern that person has is their balance. Retaining your balance is a really primitive, primal, built-in, subconscious isn't quite the word, autonomic reflex. In other words, keeping our balance is something that the brain, what's the word I'm looking for? The brain considers really important. So the minute your balance is going, part of your brain, without you having to do anything, is suddenly going, whoa, hold on a minute, let's get this right. So people can't generally fight you when they are seriously off balance. Everything works, everything fails, there's always an exception, but as a general rule, if that push comes in and I hit there and I hit there and I come here and I take the balance, whoops. Okay. So I thought that was my microphone, but no, it was Sam's ear falling
Removable jewellery.
Yeah, removable jewellery. I think I have talked in a previous video about jewellery. I love people that wear any jewellery on their face because to me, that's a gift. It's the first thing that you would have a little tug at, just for friendliness. Not to mention collecting DNA evidence. Okay, so we've played with a simple push. Simple grab. Now, there are a number of issues here. One is, why is the person grabbing you? They might be grabbing you simply because they're upset. People that work, nurses, carers, that sort of thing, will very often get grabbed by the people that they are attending because it's a way of communicating. And if you are either verbally incapacitated or in some other way incapacitated, grabbing somebody is pretty obvious. Unfortunately, though, being grabbed can hurt. So when somebody grabs you and you don't want them to grab you, the thing you have to think about is how do you release? The very simple thing to remember is 4 fingers, 1 thumb, and can we just grab me that way so the camera can see? Here you can see there is a gap between the finger and thumb. Even if somebody has very long fingers or you have a very thin wrist, that's probably the thinnest bit. So if this was to overlap, there is still, if you like, a join. And you always try and come out through the gap. When you try and come out, you pull through the gap. As you pull through the gap, you also use your body. as you pull through the gap, you keep your hand fairly close to the body. So in other words, if I was standing here and Sam had grabbed me, I wouldn't try and escape. I would actually pull in, step in rather, before I pulled out, because if you can hold me tight, that's difficult. If I step into here, you hold me as tight as you like, that's much easier. So first thing, if you can escape a grab, you escape a grab. And depending on which way they grab you, you just go the way that is through the gap. The next thing is to think about whether or not you need to take the person's mind away from what they're doing. Now, you can do that conversationally. If you have time to talk to a potential aggressor, even talking to them for a few seconds will tend to relax their grip, because they start to pay attention to your voice and to what you're saying and to any response. I mean, the classic old one is, tell me, do you prefer chocolate cake or orange frosting? And it doesn't matter how silly the question is, as long as it is a question with multiple choices, the brain starts to engage with that, this will get weaker. If that is not appropriate for the situation, bearing in mind that this might be a precursor, this might be what's being done just before they make a fist with that hand, and technical term, clop you one, you might want to get there first. Now, there are a number of things you can do. If the punch is actually coming, you've got to deal with the punch. But if the punch hasn't come yet, you have all this lovely area as a target. I think we'll turn around, because then I can still use my dominant hand. I'm being lazy. Obviously, any technique you can do with your dominant hand, you ought to be able to do with your non-dominant hand. But as I say, I'm being lazy. Simple things you can do. One of the ones I love is a sternal rub. You make a knuckle. I love it. He's not going to. Here's the sternum. You do that and you do that. It's that simple. Show the nice people your face.
He enjoys this too much.
I enjoy it way too much. All you're doing is rubbing your knuckle into and up and down the sternum. It's not nice. It's not something that's going to cause any damage. I mean, unless the guy or girl had, I don't know, brittle bone disease or something. It's not normally something that will cause any damage, but it may cause just enough discomfort that the person will pull back and leave go. If they don't, the nice thing is, if this did nothing, you're not doing anything that disadvantages you. So if you throw that punch here, I can do something about it. If you throw a lower punch, I can do something about it. So it's not like I'm kind of doing some fancy lock over here, and if it doesn't work and he hits me, I'm out of the equation. So here's the thing. That, by the way, is White Crane Spreads Wings. It's not something that I would normally interpret as a block, but if I need it as a block, I will use it as a block. White Crane Spreads Wings commonly has some kind of inward circle following it, but there is nothing stopping you making it an outward circle. So somebody grabs you, they throw that punch, you can do that. You could then do that. So here is that block. Here is an outward circle, trapping the arm, coming in and under, allowing me almost certainly to pull away fairly easily from the grabbing arm, simply because they'll be focused on what's happened there. That will give me, sorry, I'm going for the ear again. That will give me a push, a strike, a grab, for a knee, for a kick, an endless variety of options. So here's the grab, no punch for the minute. Other things that we might choose to do. I think in a previous video I've talked about launch points. I prefer when you can do launch points. I prefer when... Yeah, that's it. Well, Northerners. How would you say it up north?
Launch point.
So, where you can do it with one hand. Here, there is a little triangle. Don't do this if you've got very sharp nails, and I will be doing it fairly gently. But you can't do it too gently, because for this technique to work, it has to be done with a little bit of pressure and a little bit of speed. And what you're going to do is drill in to the point there. Relax, relax, relax. You don't need to set up for it. Right? You get that effect. It's not pushing somebody away with your fingers. It is a reflex action from that happening. He hasn't let go, that's fine, but he has come off of his dominant position, and I can do something that I want to do. So launch points are better. Sorry, can I just turn you that way? Relax your head down. Launch points are better when you can get both of them working, but it's always worth remembering that one will work. If somebody's grabbed you, you might just go for something really simple like, you might go for something really simple like a slap. I was trying to do two things at the same time. Or you might come up and just grab an ear and pull it that way. Now, if I want to pull the ear that way, all I do is I take my hip back this way a bit. He has a moment at which he could probably hit me with that hand, but again, I will have compromised the balance reflex, and he won't be thinking a lot.
That's what I was going to say.
Right? Here, I grab this way. Now, you notice, let's do it the other way around. Yep. Right, you won't be able to see the ear grabbing bit. Oh, that could be a slap first. Grab the ear. As I turn round, there is a point at which his balance is compromised quite substantially. As I say, there is a small threat from that other hand. This hand, the most likely thing that's happening here is he's holding on for dear life because he doesn't want to fall over. So you could, at this point, either, I would leave go of the ear and bring my hand to the top, and then this hand would come up and that hand would go down. And what would tend to happen is he would either crash into the ground or you would pivot him round. From a Tai Chi perspective, look at cloud hands. In cloud hands, you have hands going one clockwise. This is Yang style cloud hands. Different styles of Tai Chi have different flavors of cloud hands. So here, this hand is kind of going this way. This hand, actually I told a lie. In this case, both hands are going in the same direction. I apologize. Now here, there is where they're going in opposite directions. I've told many of my students this, that if you actually get into a scenario, and I may have said it on video before, you get into a scenario and you defend yourself successfully and you come to class the next week, you don't need to come in and go, oh, I'm sorry, Robert, I did it wrong. There is no doing it wrong if the outcome is in your favor. So here's the grab. Bang, obviously. Whack, obviously. Whack, or better than whack, whack. Is it Tai Chi? Do I care if the bigger person is about to beat the whatsits out of me? And I kind of go, could you hold on while I look up in my Tai Chi book? Is this a... Yeah, that's it. I'll be with you in a minute. Oh, page 73. Fair lady work shuttles. We could fair lady work shuttles this into there, or if he kept looking at you, it would be there. If he was actually being aggressive and talking to you, that there could well result in lower teeth meeting upper teeth quickly, which, trust me, been there, done that, not nice. So you could hit into the throat, you can hit into the jaw, you can hit into the side of the neck, you can change this to more of an elbow and hit into the other side of the jaw. This would again set you up for one of those rotational type scenarios. Anyway, let's see, grab both hands. I know we've looked at this before. I don't think we've looked at this particular variation, which is if somebody grabs you, instead of doing the, normally I would say escape the dominant hand, escape the non-dominant hand. I think that's what I would say normally. We've also done, I know, this kind of one where you try and lock or pull away and end up with a hand here, so you're controlling it. I don't think we've looked at that. Now, this is very simple, but there is an obvious disadvantage that you need to consider, which is if somebody's grabbing you that way and you move both hands that way, you're coming out through the gaps. And it's fairly, if you hold tight, it's relatively difficult to deal with that, because the way I'm moving is a complex movement pattern. The way you're trying to hold here is a more linear one. So you hold tight, and I just do that. The problem is I'm bringing my opponent's arms up to here, near my face, near my throat, and on the inside. So if I'm here and you're there, I don't want to go, no, because I'm asking for a whack. Right, so the grab comes in. So here's the out, and there's my response. My response is towards the face and also trying to trap the hands inside my own hands at the same time. Let's do that slowly. Coming up and out, whack. If you can get somebody to poke themselves in the face with their own hands, that is definitely an advantage. If you hold tight, let's see. We could also, from here, pull down and headbutt. And again, I know I've said on previous videos, personally, I don't like headbutts. I carry the small amount of brains that I have with me in there, and I don't like the idea of bashing it too much. But some people find headbutting very natural, very easy, and they are just strong enough, I guess, to do it. And if that happens to be you, then obviously, bosh. And I fluffed grabbing one of the hands, but I had a good grab on the other hand. So up, here, bang. When you headbutt somebody, tilt your head down, because you're trying to hit with the ridge of the brow, ideally into their nose. I have seen people headbutting to the chest with varying effects. What you don't want to do is headbutt the top of their head. So if Sam was trying to headbutt me and he hits there, then it's great if you're a Star Trek fan, you know, Klingons, sort of thing, but it's not so great in the real world. So coming up on the inside, attack. Coming up on the inside, pull down. That, let me do it to the other side. Here, if I pull down this way, so I'm pulling you forward. Here, in Tai Chi, there is a technique called Kao, K-A-O, not C-O-W. And Kao is a shoulder strike. So there, I potentially have a shoulder strike to the face. Not something that I would do by design. It would just be one of those things that if it happened kind of thing. From here, having come out, I could look at returning the favor of a wrist grab. Here, Sam can easily break away from that, but possibly not before I've hit him. I think we have looked in previous times at hitting the wrist of the other person, which is if it's like somebody who's not a significant threat, but you just want to kind of, it's doable. But we'll leave that for now. Oh, by the way, also obviously from there, if you were quick enough, you've also got a double thumb control, or I suppose from here, finger controls. Situational. In other words, if it happened, but you wouldn't go fishing for it. Sam was looking at kicks before. Kicks are problematic because an efficient kick you shouldn't see coming. An efficient kick should be there, and the first thing you know about it is when you're rolling around on the floor screaming, or you're unconscious. But if somebody is dumb enough, step back if you would and put your best dumb expression on. If somebody is dumb enough to want to attack you with a kick from a distance, obviously the simplest thing, can you kick? The simplest thing to do is just, sorry, we're going to go off camera. The simplest thing to do is just, as Mr. Miyagi said, for those of us that are old enough to remember that movie, no be there. But if you need to do something about it, there are a number of things you can do. For this first one, I'm going to ask Sam to kick me gently because I don't want to hurt him. I hurt you, yeah. I will say, however, the skill level needed to use this technique in real life is pretty high. I'm not saying I would do it. So if you go to kick me, I try and intercept your kick with my leg, either deflecting it or, sorry, can I beg a favor?
Yep.
Rather than using my bad leg, can you kick with that one? Or blocking it. So you go to kick and I just block it. Or you go to kick and I try and deflect it. You can block a kick with a kick. You'll see that in kickboxing, you'll see it in Muay Thai. The problem is, generally in kickboxing and Muay Thai and those kind of things, the person doing the attacking and the person doing the defending are reasonably similar in skill levels. To use the much cliched term, on the street, you do not know whether the person who is attacking you is a world martial arts champion or a complete doofus, most likely somewhere in between. So blocking a kick with a kick can be technically problematic. And the other thing that is an issue with it is, can you kick slowly, is now my balance is compromised, because whenever you're on one leg, your balance is compromised. You remember in Tai Chi, one of the things we do is relax down. If Sam just goes back a tiny bit, just so that we stay within, and if we come this way, just a tiny bit as well. Okay, so now I think we're probably well within camera range. If Sam is going to kick me, don't kick me at the moment, and I am here, I'm probably going to get kicked. Action beats reaction. If I am here and Sam wants to kick me, he's going to pretty much have to step in to kick me, which will give me time to react. And if I'm here, then maybe I can do something about it, because it's not so far away that he's got to move, but it's far enough away that maybe I'm going to see something, or be able to see something. If I do the relaxing of the legs, then when he kicks, it is easier for me to move out the way than if I'm up here somewhere where it is more difficult. So relax, and then you can move. Relax, then you can intercept. Relax, you can grab and hit. There's any number of techniques. I would say probably the ones to look at the best are be relaxed, kick comes in, try and grab, but you need to grab. I like to grab this way, so sorry. I like to grab so that my fingers are that way. I don't like to grab that way as much. So here I'm grabbing, but I'm sort of holding the leg to me. There I'm grabbing and can throw it away. But you get a friendly partner and you say, kick me, and you try that, and then you try that, and then you try that, and then you try that, and you do it very slowly, and you progressively get faster and faster until hopefully you become quite good at it. A really simple way of defeating that problem is by changing your risk factors. So in other words, here, the kick is a risk. If I'm here, the kick is not as much of a risk. A knee is perhaps more of a risk, and the fists are much more of a risk. When you are in a conflict situation, the psychology of conflict is complex. There might be times whereby being here and being like quite friendly, and I'm terribly sorry, I didn't want to do that, I'm not looking for any trouble, this might be the optimal place to be. There might be other times where the optimal place to be is, look mate, leave it out. The look mate, leave it out kind of scenario tends to be more the case if this person is bullying you. If the person is if the person is genuinely aggressive towards you, then you being aggressive back isn't going to do anything. It's just going to inflame the situation. If the person is being aggressive and I can be placatory, I can calm the situation down. I'm very sorry, mate. Can we talk? Would you, let's go and have a pint. Let's go and have a coffee. Anything to talk my way out of the situation is better. If, on the other hand, this person is being a bully, and that's my reading, and that's obviously your reading of the thing, then a little bit of not backing down. By the way, I'm puffing up too much there. I want to puff up, but keep my legs relaxed, so I've still got that movement. A little bit of, look, mate, leave it out. You're out of order. Now come on your bike. The words are unimportant because they will come to you or they will not come to you, depending on the situation. But here, think of it as placatory and giving you distance. Here, not giving you distance, but maybe giving you a psychological advantage if this person is bullying you, not genuinely threatening you. If they are genuinely threatening you, this is not the best place to be. We'll look at one more physical technique. We'll look at something nice and simple. We will look at the good old-fashioned roundhouse punch. So if I'm here, yeah, one of your hands would be great. Because of the camera, let's go with this one. So come in and bosh. Can you step back a little bit?
Yep.
And then step in and hit me?
Yeah.
Because that will give you more power. Right? And obviously somebody who's trying to hit somebody with a big round punch is going to want to knock your block off. So I think we've done it before. Sorry, my bad. Punch, stepping in slightly diagonally, taking part the wild horse's mane is the shape, taking it into the inside of the elbow, pushing into the diagonal there. I am not, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not pushing to Sam's back. If you could come in again. I'm not doing that. I'm not classic sort of karate double block or even karate single block. I'm not going to the outside. With this move from part wild horse's mane, it is an interception and a redirection of energy more than a block. So the punch comes in, I step that way, and it has an effect of taking Sam ever so slightly off balance to the back corner. I say ever so slightly. If you're lucky and you get it right, it actually takes them a big time off balance. But so from here, now this hand in Part Wild Horse's mane is down here somewhere. If you were using this as a self-defense technique, this would become a punch. This would become a slap, not just to the leg, but to the groin. This could become either a straight finger thrust or a, I only know this as a bear fist, bear as in growl, growl, not bear as in no clothes. Different people notice different things. I'm not a great fan of punching to the throat, simply because you've only got to drop your chin a bit, and I hit your chin, and maybe I hurt my hand. Whereas if you do the punch, if I come there, sorry, let's do it on the other side. If I come there, even if the jaw is down, drip your head down, I've still got an entry point there. Whereas with a fist, it's more difficult. But that's because I can do that. Some people physically can't do that. So it would be a fist, or it would be punch with that hand again. It would be slightly slower, and it would be fingers into the throat. I think we've looked before at this business of doing that, where you, excuse me,
It's funny.
Show the lovely camera your lovely throat, where you come in here, above this notch here, and you push down and in. If you've got nails, that's very uncomfortable, but even without nails, I'm just going to do it one more time because Sam is such a nice person to do it to. Here, you have a go. It's not fair. Here we go. There, in and down.
Down like that.
Sort of in and then down. Push, push, push. Go on.
I know, but it feels so horrible. How many times did you nearly kill your father?
Yeah. Okay, I think for today we'll leave that there. Hopefully, it's been quite a long while since we did the last video. Hopefully we will do some videos more often. And also what I will try and do in future videos is actually have an idea in advance of what we might be doing, which probably be...
Maybe they want to see something too.
Yes, what a great idea. If there's anything you would like to see, please leave a comment. Thank you very much. See you again soon. Bye.